Hi, I just have a question, and I'm hoping someone out there can kind of give me their take on a strategic approach. I'm kind of new. I'm new to WordPress, so I don't. I've been reading a lot about it on the Codex, and this is pretty much my first project that I'm going to be using WordPress on. I've already coded this out in CSS and have identified my template pages. So I understand the notion of templates, and you can use multiple templates in WordPress, and then basically you're calling on those templates and dynamically creating the pages. Um, I'm also familiarizing myself with custom post types and custom field types, I think it was. Um, but the point here I'm just trying to kind of wrap my brain around is that this is essentially a neighborhood site for a real estate agent. So there's a bunch of neighborhoods, and all of them have the same characteristics. Well, what do I mean by that? So, for example, I'm just going to go into DuPont Circle. This is based in Washington, D.C. area. So um, this is a neighborhood. So this is the name of the neighborhood. And now suddenly there's the introduction of a sub navigation. So that's in essence one question, is the sub navigation. I know in WordPress you can create the main navigation. I don't know very much of how to go about creating the sub navigation. Now, um, I realize that every single neighborhood is going to have a custom background image. These are going to be kind of through WYSIWYG editors, but those are separate questions that I'll ask in another place. But all of them will have places, gallery, history, and points of interest. So places would just drill down to specific places, buildings, neighborhoods, buildings, houses within a neighborhood. So in the case of DuPont Circle, there's a place called Oxford House, but they would be able to add more places. So you click on a place, and now you're drilling down to the actual place inside of the neighborhood. And then obviously this stuff seems like it could just all be WYSIWYG information. This is going to be the same form on every single place page that leads to the very same email account. So I get that as you're building the page, you would just kind of call in this into the loop, I imagine, and then it would just kind of dynamically create it the same way for every single place. They would have the ability to change the background image. But again, sorry, I kind of am going in many directions. The point is that this is a very repetitive thing. I just don't get how to thread it all together, tie it all together, if you will, on the back end. Where if this, for example, is places, I needed to go back to its particular place page. I don't know how I would go about doing that. Do you embed a custom link? Is it a specific PHP code that would tell it to, hey, go back to the places page of this? Would it be every page has its own custom permalink? So therefore I would just say, hey, go back to that permalink. The listings would just lead to a search page that's actually not going to be there, and gallery is going to be its own gallery. Same plugin, I'm just going to find a plugin, use the same plugin. But again, the main navigation will just take you back to all the neighborhoods. This is going to be already pre-done, so I don't want the client to have to be able to add new neighborhoods. The blog is pretty self-explanatory. That's what WordPress is great at, the custom blog, and this About Us page is just going to be a static page. My main concern is the neighborhoods. I'll go to another neighborhood, Georgetown. I already have selected all the custom background colors for all the neighborhoods, so that's not a problem. But again, Georgetown has its places page, which I haven't created because it's just a static HTML skin, if you will, or a theme that I'm going to plug in, overlay into WordPress. But again, the whole notion of if the client, because I'm not going to have all the places, but if the client, for example, wants to add a place into this particular neighborhood on the back end, how is that done? Is that a taxonomy thing? Is that I just kind of want to have a point of reference. I don't mind doing the reading. I'll read all the codex. That's not a problem. I'll search more forums if I have to. But from someone's point of view that's saying, hey, well, this is a very it's a large site only in the sense that there's many, in this case, neighborhoods. And within those neighborhoods, there can be many places. But aside from that, all of them are deriving from the same kind of template themes, essentially. But they will have individual components like this background image. That would have to be something that they would upload to their media gallery and call in to this particular um, place that they're creating. And they would have to be able to edit the content of this particular place, but essentially the layouts would be the same for all places, all neighborhoods. Um, and just little questions like how could I even get in here and have this link back to the main places? How would I allow them to, or would I have to create the gallery for every single neighborhood and so that they have a place to house the content? Or would it be complicated to say, well, allow them to create, well, okay, fine, I'll create all the galleries for all the neighborhoods. I guess at this point it's just saying, how on the back end would it drill down and say, well, this is gallery for DuPont Circle, and this is the gallery for Georgetown, and this is the gallery for Fox Hill, or whatever. You can see all the different neighborhoods here. So I'm just trying to wrap my brain around how to, I guess from a sense, create the, not the sitemap, but just the architecture of how the pages will be. I have the basic architecture down. I'm just wondering how on the back end of WordPress, after you create the custom post types, after you create the custom field types, um, how will it all tie in on the back end? So anyone that's had any experience in creating, which I'm sure there's many of you, maybe a real estate site or some other kind of site that has a lot of repetitive information, utilizing the same templates over and over again. How do you structure something like that? And how would I create a sub-navigation and target that sub-navigation specifically to link to the pages relevant to this case, a specific neighborhood. So any information, any kind of, hey, you should check out this link, hey, this is a great article, hey, the term you might be looking for is this, would be so helpful and helping me kind of figure out the next step. Thank you.